Hello and welcome to the Deception Podcast. Attempting to make an audio show out of a visual art form since 2013. My name's your host, and I'm your John Disborough. Alongside me, they seek him here, they seek him there, they seek him everywhere. It is the dedicated follower of in fashion himself, Mr. Aaron Hayes.
Hello, and how are we?
Very well, thank you.
It was rhetorical to the audience more than you.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Practiced that, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's almost like he wrote it for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side of the internet is Mr. Jordan O'Grady.
Little old me. How are we?
Good, thanks.
Thank you. Is that
I
to
can
us?
see you.
You can see me as well.
This is, if you're listening on your phones, if you're on your iTunes or
your P-Pods.
podcast apps or whatever you want, you won't notice any difference apart from the fact the music's changed. And I'll tell you why in a little while. Basically, we've started a YouTube channel, which is, if you just go onto YouTube and search for Deception Podcast, you'll find us. We had quite a few people ask us to do a video show.
Yeah.
And
See what we all look like.
Yeah, basically, you won't want to see it again. We haven't really got the time or inclination to do a separate show each week for video. So we're going to make a compromise and we're going to record the visual of the podcast.
Makes sense.
So if you're listening to us on your phones or however you want to, just via audio, via the podcast, that's fine. We're going to be the same as we were before.
That's how I'll probably listen.
Yeah,
to
be fair, I'm not
going to watch myself back.
But if you are in the mood for sitting in front of the PC and you want to see something a bit more visual, then you can now see us. We are here, and you'll be able to see the stories we're talking about and things like that.
Okay, you with your reference to the camera there.
Well, there you go.
That's one for just the YouTube people.
Yeah.
Anyway,
back thumbs up, aren't you?
And the reason we've had to change the music is, unfortunately, the music we had before was only a license for audio, not for visual use. So we've had to find some new music that YouTube's not going to flag up and kick us off about. So there you go. This is our new song.
They are words. I like it though. I like this
good.
music.
It's funky. It's good. Right, let's dive in with this week's Magic News.
Travelling the world of prestidigitation and bringing back the interesting bits. This is Magic News.
Right, what are we talking about first?
We're talking about first the sequel to Now You See Me.
Now You See Me. This was the thing with Isla Fisher.
Yeah.
And it's not Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark
We had this
Ruffalo.
the other week, didn't
Mark
we?
Ruffalo. Yes,
Yeah.
but I know Mark Ruffalo. He was the Hulk. We had this the other week. Mark Zuckerberg. There's
He's
a
the
guy.
creator of Facebook.
Right, I had to read up about this. There is a guy who plays him.
Yeah, in the Social Network
right,
film.
I thought that was the same person. I thought Mark Zuckerberg played himself in the Social Network.
Yeah, he needs the money.
Right, so this is. I got really confused. I listened back to that episode and thought, God, I sound like such an idiot.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Well, I'll be honest, I thought he was putting it on.
No, so I can't think of the guy's name now, but it's him anyway.
Yeah, and Woody from Cheers.
And Woody Harrelson, we like him, don't we?
Well, anyway, there's a sequel called The Second Act.
Now You See Me, the second act. Yeah,
and I'm hoping for this as well because it kind of ended, but didn't. It did open the way out for a sequel.
Yeah, but saying that though, there aren't many films that don't do that now, are there? Really, that don't.
When does this one come out then?
When does this one come out? That's coming out. I don't think it tells us actually. But the story we've got here is
June next year.
June next year, right? Okay, because I've not seen a trailer or anything.
Just in time for a Deception convention.
You normally get a trailer about a year before it comes out, don't you? So, but here there's been twins cast. BBC twins, in fact, have been cast. So who are these guys?
Well, they're
then?
Producers.
Ah.
They're producers. They're not normally actors as such.
Right.
But they've been given a role in this. But you'd think, why use twins if it's on film? Surely you use special effects.
What, like Hayley Mills?
Yeah, like The Parent Trap.
Was it Hayley Mills? Yeah.
I'm just thinking, if they were doing it back in the 50s and 60s, then why not now?
They can never touch.
Mary Poppins, they dance with penguins.
Yeah.
But
I just suppose it makes it easy, doesn't it? Maybe there's part of the story that means they're twins.
They used twins in that other magic movie, didn't they?
No, you're thinking of The Prestige.
Didn't they use twins in that?
No, there's a bit of a spoiler alert, that, to be honest, because it was Hugh Jackman, but what
have you done? To be fair, I imagine most people have seen it already.
There's so they're going to be in it now. I wonder whether the story in the story they're twins, or if the story is a single character, but there needs to be two of him, if that makes sense. So I look forward to finding out which one it is. There's a bit of a precedent for this in films, isn't there? Because the twins that they used in the Matrix movie, the guys who could turn see-through.
It's not Wachowski, but it's something.
No, they're the brothers who made it. But the two guys who they got long hair and they turn see-through and can float through stuff. Yeah. Well, they were twins, but they weren't actors. Ghosts. They weren't actors either. They were builders or something, and they were on TV. They were on one of these house makeover shows.
Oh right, okay.
As two builders.
But why would they not sort of cast both of them, if that makes sense, in a movie? Nowadays we're using CGI and all that sort of thing.
Well, it's easier, isn't it? I guess if they're there.
I don't know. Not if they're not identical.
Well, they are.
No, there's gonna be some.
Actually, no. Do you know what?
They're not that identical.
They're not identical. Actually, looking at the guys.
You remember in Harry Potter? They have the
same
twin
T-shirts
brothers
on
as well.
The what?
There's twin brothers in Harry Potter.
Ron's brothers.
George and someone. Yeah. Them, and they're identical.
Yeah.
You can tell that they have to dye their hair for the film,
Right.
But anyway, I don't think they look identical.
Well, maybe they're not. Maybe they're going to.
Are they even? Have we read this story properly?
No, not really.
Next one.
Isn't it interesting that they're making a second film? That was the main thing we wanted to say. They're making a second AUC.
Well, here's the audition. The audition was the thing for me. Like what it said, like most like TV commercials, little. You just turn up and you read a little bit, or you say, "Here, sell us this bottle of aftershave or something in 30 seconds."
Right.
Well, with this one here, they had like, you need to perform a magic trick.
Right.
Well, we don't do magic. Well, you better learn then, haven't you? So.
What? Well, you could learn a quick trick, couldn't you?
I don't know. For an audition for a film?
Yeah. Why not?
Picked it up off YouTube as well, by the look of it.
Yeah.
So next thing, moving on. More magic on the television.
Troy is back with us.
Yes.
For series 2.
Did we all watch it?
I haven't yet. I will, but I haven't yet. I've been so busy this week. Again, people who've got me on Facebook will know, and you'll hear it on this podcast as well. Deception has we've kind of been not took over because it's my thing, but I'm creating at the minute like an umbrella company for all the different sort of media outlets I've got going on called Geekism Network. And this week I've been getting all that sort of stuff sorted, so I just haven't had a spare minute at the minute. We're also rebranding Deception. Again, you'll have noticed new images and stuff going on the podcast and things. So I've just been absolutely rammed with that this week. But I will watch it because I did actually quite enjoy the last series.
A simple yes or no would have done, Jonty, to be fair, but that's fine. Yeah, thanks for that.
Yes, no. But
what have you been doing this week, Aaron?
But you have watched it, yeah?
I watched it. I'll be honest, I really enjoyed it. Jordan?
Yeah, I did too.
It's almost a different show. Yes, it is essentially it is in the same vein as the likes of Dynamo, Mission Impossible. So there isn't a big stunt at the end,
right? Normally,
is there? But there is the odd thing there.
I think he's just got a really good personality for telly, and he comes across really well.
Yeah, I remember from last series, he's definitely one of the more likeable performers on TV at the minute, I think.
Do you know what I like about the show?
Go on.
Is in between the scenes and sets. It's not him just... Yeah, obviously there's always a bit of a voiceover thing saying, I'm here in this pub to meet my friend Tom. Yeah. We're going to drink beer and talk to girls. Hopefully show them a magic trick. It's not that type of thing. So
we're not allowed to play clips on here, you know.
Yeah. I like the little, just the little things, just him and the camera.
Yeah. Like a little vox pop type.
Yeah, you know when it's just him?
The coin matrix.
He's done a coin matrix. That looked lovely. He also done that really Ash and Ember ring.
Yeah.
Is that the black and gold ring?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I saw a really good thing.
Michael J. Fitch done a good one.
Fitch did a really cool video with that about the the dress that's been going around.
Yeah,
the old,
he did. I saw that
blue
as well.
or white and gold dress.
What colour is this ring?
And he did that as a bit of pass. That was really good. That. It's such a shame that could have gone big. That
it could have gone a little bit. Yeah, could have gone a bit viral. Do you know what I thought though when I first saw him do that Ash and Ember ring? I just thought there's about 100 people now who have sold theirs after a week, shoved it on a second-hand site, and now going,
digging through the bottom drawer. I know I've got one of these.
When it first came out, there were loads of people that sold it straight away, weren't there?
Well, because they've opened up the box and gone,
is that all it is?
They're using their imagination.
Now, obviously, I'm not going to tip a method here. I've never seen one in real life.
I wouldn't tip it.
I haven't.
You can't tip it.
From watching the video, there is only one possible way that can be done. I'm pretty sure I know exactly. Yeah. So who's surprised when it comes out that it isn't what it is? You know,
all the people that sold it, all the people that bought it, and then thought, I'm going to get rid of it.
Good to the camera piece, though, I think. Yeah, definitely.
Look great on that.
Loads of stuff like that. Stream burn, I think, works very well for things like that. What's the other one he did? Oh, Kieran did free caps, didn't he? That was one. You know, the pen lids in your mouth. I've got one of them to give away on the show soon, actually. It's up there somewhere. That was a good plug, wasn't it?
Yeah, Troy's back, and obviously, that was a series, season 1. Season 2.
Episode
1.
But
episode 1 was on a Sunday night.
He's built, isn't he?
8th of March. He wasn't that buff when in the first series, I don't think.
He's been there.
He's been in the gym, and he's been in the gym.
Working the ones.
Same as me.
Same as you.
Yeah, you're massive. You're massive.
And finally, for Magic News this week, Brewing Some Magic.
It's a story close to your heart, John T.
It is, yes. Ridgewood's Bridge and Tunnel Brewery, which is in New York, have created a new beer called Bound by Chains, which is homage to legendary illusionist Harry Houdini. His famous gravesite, is nearby in it's Cypress Hills, isn't it?
I think it's the Machpelah Cemetery.
Yeah, you're reading. Yeah, very good.
Well, you weren't.
I know Cypress Hills is quite a famous part of.
Were they insane to the membrane?
Yes. So they're doing.
No brain.
Apparently, they're doing a big event to launch this new beer. I am a huge fan of beer. I'm a huge fan of craft breweries, and there's some really good craft breweries coming out of New York at the minute. 6 Point is awesome. Bengal Tiger is one of the nicest beers I've ever tasted. But sorry, we're going off to a totally different subject now. But I can't wait to get a bottle of this. I'm going to buy 2, one to drink and one to look at. What are you looking at me like that for?
What are you doing? Right, he doesn't watch the magic show that's on the TV, but he's read up on all the beer.
Random beers.
I haven't read up on
How many times have you been to New York?
I never have. But
when's the last time you bought a deck of cards?
Oh God, years ago.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
I love that quirky little pub on 54th Street.
I get given cards now.
I'm a bit of a big deal now.
I'm a bit of a name now. Oh God, that sounded awful. That'll be clear.
No, I won't. I'm keeping that in.
Anyway, look out for it. It's available online on their website. Is rupertscup.com. You can get yourself a bottle of Houdini beer, and each bottle has a little bit of him in.
No, it doesn't.
The Deception Convention returns to Liverpool in the UK on the 14th of June 2015. We've got lectures from Kieran Johnson, Alan Rorison, Grant Clark and John Allen, and an after-show party featuring Kieran's Prestidigitation Regurgitation Act, which is about as difficult to watch as it is to say. For more information, visit www.deceptionconvention.co.uk. Right, time for your quiz. We have got new music for the quiz. Like I said before, we have to use different music now. We're on YouTube as well. So I hope you enjoy. This is our new ragtimey quiz, old-timey... Oh, Jesus. Quiz.
Music. He's good with them words tonight.
I don't know how he does it.
Pro. Right, so rules are the same as always. 5 questions, best first to 3 wins. Scores so far are 5-3 to
I was
Aaron.
going to ask that. We're not resetting the scores, are we?
Well, just because the music's changed?
Yeah.
No, we're carrying on as it is.
No, I don't think we should at all, Jordan.
Scrap it.
It is staying 5-3 to Aaron. So let's hear your buzzers. Aaron goes. And Jordan goes. Very good. Okay, today your questions are all about David Copperfield.
Oh, I love a bit of Dickens. Yeah. It's very good. It's very good. I'm going to rephrase that. When I said...
I think we just found the name of the show.
Yeah.
Right. Question number 1. As you can probably imagine, David Copperfield is a pseudonym. So what is David Copperfield's real first name? Aaron, straight in there?
David.
Correct, it is, yeah. It is 1-0.
What is it?
His real surname isn't Copperfield, though. I can't remember. I didn't write it down, sorry. Question number 2. Which famous supermodel was David Copperfield married to for years? Oh, Jordan's not got a clue. Look, see, they're shaking his head. Go on.
Claudia Schiffer.
It was Claudia Schiffer, yeah. Did you not know that?
Nope.
Thicko. 2-0.
I think I was a big Copperfield fan before I was into magic.
I think everyone likes a bit of Copperfield, don't they?
Yeah.
Question number 3. If you didn't know that last one, it could be a whitewash here tonight. Question number 3. David Copperfield made his name in the early days of his career by famously floating over which landmark? Famously floating over which American landmark?
Ooh.
I'm going to have a guess at Brooklyn Bridge.
No, not a bad punt though. Something you float over. Something you float, like we all do it. Something you could float over. You could walk off and carry on walking and float over something. Go on.
Was it, no, it's Niagara Falls, I was going to say.
No, Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon.
Was the correct answer.
I do remember,
Canyon.
yeah, he done it cross-legged as well.
What?
Done it with his legs crossed.
And cross-eyed. How are the Musha Cay Islands better known?
Oh,
Aaron's in, go on.
I won't get it correct. It's not the island of like never-ending life, or that. Isn't it that?
No, no.
Isn't that where he's found the fountain of youth? He says.
Oh, he reckons he's found it.
He's found it.
I think he has.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Well, that's
Tiny illusion, also known as Botox. Go on, Jordan.
Is it Bohemian?
No.
Is it Copperfield Isles?
Copperfield Bay, it is. It's the 11 islands he owns, which is rather ridiculous. And moving on from the fact that he owns 11 islands, according to Forbes magazine, how much will he soon be worth? It's a nice round number. How much? Oh, go on, Aaron, just...
Do you know what? Let him have it because he hasn't got a point yet.
Go on.
50 million.
$1 billion.
$1 billion, yeah. He's soon going to be worth $1 billion.
50 million.
First magician ever to do it.
You're going to have to start making questions easier for me.
What? And not
How do
easier
you
for
spell
Aaron?
David?
What?
Like, how do you spell David?
Go on then.
Go on then. No, go on. Do it now.
D.
Yeah.
So Aaron wins 5. What was it? Did you whitewash that? No, you didn't get the Grand Canyon.
You didn't get one right though.
3-0 it was to Aaron. Aaron makes it 6-3. I don't know how long this song is.
It's years, isn't it? Oh, we're near the end now.
We're alright. Woo! There you go. That was good. Right. We're going to mention the competition that we are running again before we move on.
Okay.
We've got a signed copy of the fantastic So On by Roddy McGhie and Full 52 Magic. We started this last week. We're running it for 2 weeks. Just to give people a chance to have a go. No, quite a few people have actually. I'm quite impressed with how many people we've got going. It is a great trick. I think there's a lot of people who were umming and ahhing at Blackpool perhaps, or maybe didn't go to Blackpool.
What are you doing?
I bought one.
Oh, he's got one there.
Jordan's got one.
I bought one.
Yeah.
So I didn't. Sorry.
He bought nothing.
I didn't buy it down by magic. So anyway, it's very good though. It is a good trick. It's the sort of thing I like to watch. So there you go, Roddy McGhee. So On.
I buy porn for that.
If you want to win, you buy porn. What have you never heard of the internet?
Ridiculous, isn't it? I'm so sorry. I don't.
That's why my internet's lagging. Let me just stop it a minute.
Is that it? Turn it off. Turn it off. He does. Jordan buys it.
Well, he can afford to, can't he?
He can, yeah. And also the weird stuff that he watches, you can't get that free. So anyway, what we on about? You want to win a signed copy of So On by Roddy McGhie, all you have to do is go to our Facebook page. You'll find a picture there of Roddy taken from the DVD, and we're having a caption competition. You have to go on and find your funniest caption, comments. Some of them are really good, actually, really made me chuckle. And Roddy was chatting to me as well. He's really liked some of the ones that have been on there. So if you want to win a copy of that, get on the Facebook page, give us a like, and while you're there, enter the competition. Right, it is time for this week's Sounds Like You're Playing With Yourself.
My favourite part of the show.
It is. You've not heard this one yet? Playing this one for you live?
Normally, just so people know, I try not to listen to them because I like it to be fresh, fresh in the mind. So I haven't listened to this.
Jordan finds the clips.
On a separate clip, don't we?
Yeah, Jordan finds the clips and I edit them. So unfortunately, we both have to listen to them. But we try and keep it a nice surprise for Aaron.
I know what it's from.
This week, because you can read the word there,
yes.
Is from the Butterfly Pass. Is it Butterfly Pass Project? Is it? Yeah. I think it is, isn't it? Butterfly Pass Project by the fantastic Stephen Leathwaite. This is really, really good.
It's ridiculous. I took you to see it.
2-disc DVD, yeah. You took me over to see this,
I said, come and look at this. And he performed it. And John T went, well, go on then.
All right, now do it. Now do the move.
You know when you're watching someone's hand, you're going, all right then, go on. And John T was like, so you're just mimicking the move there, right? And he went, no, it's not. And he went, oh, well.
And so basically, it is. So the whole DVD set is around a pass move that Stephen's created called the Butterfly Pass. There are a few different. There are a few variations on the move as well, aren't there?
And Jordan, he's got his own, didn't he?
Go on, Jordan. Tell us what you think.
No, he was just about to say it. I thought you were just going to say it's all just a pass.
No.
There's a load of routines as well and tricks that he's put out there.
Well, that's the thing. There's variations on the pass as well, but then using that pass, there is an ambitious routine, there is a sandwich routine, there is, and they're all really, really nice. It's a really nice utility, and it isn't very often that a new utility move comes along, really, is there? I think for me, the last one that came around that really made me sort of sit up and take notice was probably the push over. The one that Andy Gladwin. It wasn't his move originally.
Master push off.
But he kind of brought it back to the mainstream, didn't he?
That's hard. That
it is hard. Yeah,
Still can't do that.
I never really got. I spent a good week or two on it and just couldn't really get it.
I'm getting better with it now, and I think it's one of them things where do we live in a world now where people just want. I can't do it straight away. I can't do it out the box.
Yeah, perhaps so. But I think if you for this with the Butterfly Pass, I think you're going to know you want it. Really, you're going to know whether or not the clue's in the name. You're learning a new pass.
It's well worth the money.
But it is a really fantastic move. I'm really glad that Stephen finally put it out there. But anyway, here is the clip from this week. Sounds Like You're Playing With Yourself. The Butterfly Pass Project by Stephen Leathwaite.
It sounds like you're playing with yourself.
And you're going to pull this down at the same time, so it's one fluid motion, because otherwise you'll flash. So as this comes forwards, this is going to dribble, and as I close up, my forefinger is going to close, my thumb is going to squeeze, my fingers are all going to squeeze, and as I do this, my wrist does a sharp action of this. Right, so it's just boom, and as it dribbles, then we'll take this away for a second so you can see this. I'm literally going to close my hand and squeeze, and I do that, and I come upwards. Boom.
It sounds like you're playing with yourself.
Oh, it's the dribbling that got me. It's the dribbling that got me. Stephen, thank you so much.
Put loads more.
We hope you appreciate that.
That's the most Jordan. Well done.
Good one, that. Very good done, that one. Very, very good one.
Well done, because Jordan, he edits all them.
Jordan sends the clips over, and then we put them together. So he's
done.
Really
That's
good.
fantastic. That's ridiculously funny.
Sorry, Stephen.
I'm sure he'll take that how it's meant to be took. Right, here we go. This week's masturbation question was set last week by listeners to the show, Tim, who asked us, how did you feel about your first gig, was the question he asked. We opened it up a little bit and said, tell us a little bit about the gig, what did you do, where was it, if you remember, just a little bit of information, because we've all been there, we all had it. I think from looking at the message that Tim sent originally, he's getting ready to do his first, or he's looking to do his first. I think he just wants a few sort of pointers as to how you felt, or and things like that. So let's go in there. Alex D. Fisher has put, I was nervous as hell, almost to the point of being ill. It wasn't the best, but I managed to get a small crowd because I was fly pitching at Covent Garden and made a fair £12 back in 1987. That probably wasn't that bad. That wasn't a bad amount of money, was it, really? Well, that's a bit of a baptism of fire, that, though, isn't it?
Just setting up
Covent Garden.
A crowd in Covent Garden, fantastic. Stephen Players put, I did not bad, apart from the canapé man bumping my arm and all the cards flying over somebody. Oh, well, we've all been there with stuff like that, haven't we?
I don't know.
Also, my routines were rubbish. Honestly, really bad.
Liam Fish Chivalry Divine. Are we allowed to swear now that we're on audio?
Yeah,
video? Okay. He went, I shit me pants. Thank you. No, he's really scared. Said it went really well. A few disasters, though. The booker wiped out a waitress and spilt a bottle of champagne on me in the first 5 minutes. Other than that, a blinder knocked it out of the park.
When you say wiped out a waitress, is that like...
I think he knocked her out. Yeah, I think he's knocked her out, yeah.
Smashed him with his yo-yo.
Yeah, uppercuts. Around the world.
Brought the dog. Lawrence Turner's put, he's nervous as hell. He's got a bit of mention about the gig. It was 2 hours for a students at an AU ball. He got 50 quid.
Straight in with the big money.
Horrific fails, some successes, and lessons learned. I think that's the most important thing, isn't it?
Leo Clawton says, nervous for the first table, then I gained a bit of momentum. 3 hours at a local pub/diner place. Some mistakes, nothing drastic. Definitely a good experience. I'm glad.
There you go.
Glad you went out there again.
Kieran Johnson's put, my first gig was 2 weeks into magic. I dropped a note with a pen through on it and used a fanning deck that changed colours, but Cartoon saved my arse.
Is that a new version?
I remember my sister.
Like that, isn't
Fart tune.
There is a fart tune, isn't there? I remember my sister convincing me to pluck my eyebrows as well. I got a lot of questions. Well, you're performing, you've got to look smart.
Get them plucked.
You've got to get them plucked.
No, but then my eyebrow, I don't need. No, get them done. Get them done.
Rob Sharp, my first gig was a hen do. It went really well, but some... but I was particularly being sick with nerves on my way there. Practically being sick. Oh my fucking God.
We have to keep it in though.
I've got to say, now, you probably know now that Jordan isn't very good at reading out loud. We don't know why. He's more than fluent in reading. He's very good at talking.
He's got hundreds of books. He's read loads of
things. When you put them together, he can't do it. So on here, Jordan has selected some of these comments himself to read. And that was one of them.
He's highlighted them in red on our screen. So we're like, whenever we get to one of them, we just go, all right,
he gets another go in a minute, so we'll see how he gets on. Kieran's also put, I also used to wear a tie as a belt. And I had my jacket with flames up the arms. I remember that jacket. Do you remember that jacket you used to wear? It was a bit like an Ed Hardy one. With flames all up it.
I have got that.
You've got one of them, haven't you? And a Stickman's emblem.
We don't talk about my fashion faux pas.
You're wearing it now, aren't you? Stand up. It was a twirl.
Is it not similar to that one that you wore at Blackpool, that purple one?
Right.
The purple velour.
Right. It's an Ed Hardy jacket, and I got it in like a ridiculous... I wasn't a ridiculous figure. No, it only cost like 40, 50 quid. It's like a massive, like, stupid drop-down sale. So I thought, well, I'll buy it. I might wear it. If not, shove it on eBay. No one wants it.
Oh, really? Have you tried selling it, have you?
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Keep the screen still.
Sorry, go on.
Stefan Ballantyne says, my first gig went well, but there were too many drunk people. It was a great experience, and I learned a bit about dealing with drunk fools. Baptism of fire there, that's it, isn't it? Matthew Parrott said, my first gig was a horror story. It was a dark, dark night. And in the day, he said, I got asked to do it in the morning of the event and do a 3-minute stage bit. I didn't have too much time to worry about it, as, you know, he had things to sort out. I decided on doing the human blockhead, nailing the nose, for those that don't know. 30 seconds before I went on, they tell me that it was an audience of 50 special needs children.
Right. Tough crowd, isn't it, that?
Well...
So what did he do? Use a biro instead?
Well, it doesn't matter, does it? Sticking stuff up your nose
still putting something up your nose, aren't you?
Whether
children at all.
Not really, anyway.
We've been there, haven't we?
Yeah.
Next one by Steve. Oh, sorry, Jordan, this is one of yours?
This is in red.
This is bright red.
Here we go.
I can name myself. Steve Rowe. He almost didn't go in the door. You changed some words, haven't you?
No. I think it means wet. I think it means wet.
I think it's meant to be wet.
You changed some words.
No, we haven't
think in the door. I wet my pants on the drive. Check my pockets 100 times.
Start again. Read it again. I'll chop it in. Go
on. Steve Rowe says, I almost didn't go in the door. I wet my pants on the drive. Check my pockets 100 times. These guys are editing everything.
We're not.
I've got show notes going.
Go on.
Who have I got to? Check my pockets 100 times. got out and was so nervous. I walked up the door and froze. Then the booker saw me and ran out to give me a hug. She said, show my dad a trick. From there on, it was ace. Forgot about it completely. Then the drive home, I kept whooping loudly and saying yes. And I was hooked. What are you going to say, Aaron, there?
You went to type on crack. I love these automatically updated show notes. They're great. So, Steve, that is pretty much my one, to be honest. I remember my first gig. I was 14 years old.
Wow.
I remember it really vividly.
Yeah, I remember
14
mine.
years old. So 14 years ago now, half my life ago this was. It was at a beefeater in Derby called the Macleod. And it was on a Sunday afternoon, and they were going to have me every Sunday until they decided they didn't want it anymore. So it was a Sunday afternoon for 2 hours, and I got £40, and Derby was about an hour away.
For a 14-year-old, though.
I was more than happy with that. Sunday, yeah, I was still in school, 40 quids. You know, back then you'd get a £5 pocket money a week, really. You know, so 40 quid, I was laughing. I didn't know what to do with it, to be honest.
I had to do a milk round for 12 quid.
I had to give 20 quid to my dad to drive me there because it was an hour away.
20 quid to drive me back.
But, you know, it's all experience. I got to hand out my business cards. But with
the local press there.
Yeah. So, and I remember the first week by then, I'd been doing magic for a good 5 or 6 years, so I'd got an invisible deck, and I could do a bit of an ambitious card routine, the one I do now. And I could do. No, you know, I'd moved on from magic sets, but I still took my cups and balls, which were the cups and balls out of the Marvin's Magic. You know, the blue, yellow, and red cup you get with the little fluffy ball.
Really?
Yeah. And tried doing that at a table, and realised that wasn't happening. And I remember one of the tables I walked over to. And ever since my very first gig, I've always asked them if they want to see magic from now on, because I went over and started doing a trick to a table of 4, and one guy stopped me and said, "Oh, we're really sorry, but this is a wake." This is on my first gig. So ever since then, I've always asked if they want to see something.
Did you understand what they said when he went, "This is a wake"? Did you go, "Are you telling me it's banging? We're all awake"?
No, I understood what it was. Thank God. So,
best gig I've ever done.
Ever since then, and you see people who sort of say, do the whole. It doesn't happen so much anymore, I think. But when people walk up and say, "Has anyone dropped a wallet?" and it's a fire wallet or whatever, and then they're in. I don't like doing that. I don't like forcing it on people. I've always asked ever since that my very first gig, and I walk up to a table and it was a little private wake.
My word, my first gig was, I think it came about by me. It was from another magician gave me the gig, basically. Just
right.
Said, "Are you free on this day?" And I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. Yeah. And I thought, well, it'll be fine. And it wasn't for a small amount of, it was obviously my first thing. I had no idea how much magicians charged at this point. I wasn't looking to do it for a difficult thing for a job. I wasn't. And if you ask other magicians, then you're never going to work in your life, because you're answering the phone and saying, $3,000. I don't wake up for less than 4.
Yeah.
I hate all that. And it was for £220.
That's all right. For a first gig.
I know what it was, £220.
I'd do a midweek
and I thought,
for now for that. I'd do an hour in the week. 200 quid.
Yeah,
too right was.
It's nice of you. But so I remember driving there, and I had my close-up case with me. Well, my magic case. And inside there, I think I'd given off the impression that I was further on with magic than I actually was.
Yeah.
I said, I can do a few tricks, that's fine. And I will tell you the tricks that I had with me at the time.
Go on.
I had an invisible deck.
Yeah.
A brainwave deck.
Right.
A rainbow deck.
Yeah.
Sure. Right.
See where this is going.
Yeah. I had a Svengali.
Yeah. Wizard.
I didn't have a taper deck with me.
No,
I didn't. Sadly not. I had 2 sponge balls.
Pop-eyed Papa.
I didn't have that. I had 2 sponge balls. A chop cup. Hang on a minute. It gets better. Chop cup. Oh, what else was it that I had with me? I thought it was like the best thing that I've ever. When you buy stuff and you go, well, that's.
It'll be some Tenyo thing or something, I bet.
That was another deck, a rising deck.
Oh God.
And that was it. I had another deck. Yeah, no, seriously, I had trouble walking right up to each table. And the thing is, I would literally finish a trick and go, thank you, and then go to my sock and pull out another deck. Right. And I had all these things with me. I had also a deck where you took out the pack of cards.
Yeah.
Then you opened the box again and you pulled out a mini deck of cards as well. Right. Wow. Yeah.
Diminishing returns.
Sorry, mate?
No. Diminishing returns.
No. Actually comes out the box. Actually comes out the box. It was a cracking thing. And obviously I didn't perform all of that. I think each table got Invisible Deck and Svengali.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was it. But I remember it taking me a good 20 minutes of me walking around the room
before you went to that first
with
one.
with cards in a fan.
Yeah. Just walking around holding a fan.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much hoping that someone would call me over. Oh, I had a delight. So every now I'm just walking around. One hand's got a card fan, but every other card's the 4 of hearts. A little bit smaller.
And the other hand, you just moving your hand around with a delight on.
With his blue light on my thumb.
Oh, excuse me.
And then
Sorry, carry on.
And then I'm wondering why people haven't called me over. Come and show us a trick, young man. Come and show us a trick. And they didn't at all. And but it was one of the things I got paid. And from then on,
do you know?
You learn from it, don't you? You learn from it. So
yeah,
it was fun.
I can't remember my very first gig like you can. I think probably because I used to perform like a lot at home and a lot for friends and stuff like that.
Yeah. You can't remember the first time that you went somewhere
and they paid you
as the magician. Really? God, I remember mine like it was and I've got a terrible memory, but I remember walking into the Mallard and
in Derby.
£40.
£40. Did they have you back the following week?
I was there for about a year or two.
Really?
Yeah, I was there for ages.
Did they put your money up?
Eventually they did, yeah. A few months for £40 though. But like I said, I was 14. I didn't know what to do with the money.
14.
I didn't know what to do with the money. Back then, a video game was like £15 still. I was Rockefeller. I was at school. I was walking around like, what did you do the weekend? Went to the park. What did you do? I had £40.
£40?
Look at me now.
I remember when I got to about 2021, I used to take all my stuff down to the fire station, and we used to have like little evenings down there and just do little shows and stuff down there.
Was this when you were working as a fireman?
Yeah, because I was a part-time fireman before I got in the full-time.
Oh, right, okay.
So I used to do all that as well as all my other jobs.
Yeah, I think the thing with what was with me with it being Beefeater, my mum worked for Beefeater, so most of my work for Beefeater, it's still to this day, to be fair, one of the few places I still work is Whitbread. Do Christmas Day there and stuff as well. So I think it's all.
I mean, I remember being on all the first couple of jobs that I did. I remember being extremely nervous and like similarly to yourself, just wandering around.
10 years I've been doing it now. It still takes me a minute to go to that first table.
Oh yeah,
it's still there. Once I've started, that's it. I'm away. But
you need to, if you pick the right table first as well and get them all cheering, that gives you a real boost. If you get a shit table to start off with, it knocks you a little bit.
Do you ever walk around, if you're doing like a wedding reception or something, if it's just an event? No, if you're ever doing like a high-paid corporate, we all are. Yeah. If you ever done an event, and let's say, I don't know, there's 10 tables in the room, and you haven't got to your first table yet, do you ever just walk up and like kind of stand in the middle of the room and pretend to count the tables? As if you're still umming and ahhing about when to... You're thinking, I've got to do a trick.
Yeah.
I've been here an hour. and all they see me do...
10 minutes left.
All they see me do is go, oh, right, okay, so that table then. 2, 3, they've
all just got drinks in, so I'm going to give them a minute.
They're laughing at something else.
And you think as well, you look at the rowdy table.
I'll just go home.
The ones with all the gobby ones on. Yeah. And you think, I don't want to go up to them because they're all rowdy and all that lot. And them sort of tables end up being the best ones.
Of course, yeah, always. The worst ones are the ones with the parents on, or the or if it's a company one, the one with like the managers on or something. You know?
I hate the parent tables when you walk over and the kids will be, they go, yeah, watch this, watch.
Yeah.
And then they're the ones who grab their phones and go, Do you know what? I think what I'm going to start doing is just start swearing at the children. You know, you know what I mean? Or just start showing them dirty pictures. I'm going to show them a trick with my phone. Little trick with my phone. There you go.
Right, there you go then. Thanks for that, Tim. We enjoyed that as a question. And we got some good feedback, so thanks to Tim for that. If you think of any questions you'd like to like us to answer, or like us to put out there for other people to answer, let us know. You can do that at info@deceptionconvention.co.uk. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/deceptionpodcast, and you can find us on Twitter at twitter.com/deceptionmagic. There you go. I've nearly got them all in my head now. You can find us, if you're on YouTube, you can see all the information at the bottom. If you're listening to us, you can find us on Twitter individually. I'm at Jonty Sparrow.
I am at the Aaron Hayes.
And I'm at Jordan O'Grady.
That's all we've got time for this week. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching if you join us on YouTube. And we'll see you next week. Until then, have a good one, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
The Deception Podcast is a proud member of the Geekism Network. Get your geek around this. For more information on this and other shows, visit geekism-network.com.
Didn't realise the ending would be that long, did you?
No, I didn't know.
My word!